Colleagues, greetings. We continue. Next press briefing about specifics of medical assistance and battle experience of doctors, and I invite Taras Kuchma. He's the head of medical department of Kulchytsky battalion. Good morning. Medical care, medicine is different because doctors are facing traumas in everyday traumas that very seldom you can find them in everyday life. In our battalion, at the beginning, we had 1 or 2 doctors, and we didn't have professionals. Now we have 4 doctors, 4 surgeons, 2 supporting surgeons, and supporting doctors, instructors, and drivers. And in Ukraine, as nowhere in the world, we have volunteer service, which is developed, a movement, and they took all the burden to support medical care. All necessary, and I will say even more that in my red area, what is the red area? And professionals know we have a surgery room which is provided better than, for example, than in my Drohvo, which is my native town. It has everything. It started with breathing equipment and other elements of anesthesia and reanimation, up to the most banal medical stuff and preparations, medicine, bandage, which is not difficult to find or buy in a civilized world. And that's big. Thanks to volunteers, they communicate with foreigners, with Americans, and with other organizations as NGOs that provide and support us. What else I would like to mention? That now we are completely provided with transportation, which allows us to move and our patients. In the battalion of Kulchytsky, we have 4 ambulances, reanimation ambulance, and they play their function quite successfully. And an example, quite recently, when a sniper hit the head of our soldiers, and everybody refused to transport him. Our team, reanimation team, and we delivered him. And thanks, because our drivers are not afraid of shells and howitzers, the shell of howitzers upon them, and so they delivered them, and the soldier survived. They got out the bullet from his head, and because of quick actions, everything was done. Second point, doctors work under extreme conditions, and that has influence on their mentality. Doctors need to say very often to go to rotation, and they need to recover, and they need recreation. In Stanitsa, Luhansk, and there was with grass and mortars. All the soldiers were in a shelter, and a doctor had a surgery. Was doing a surgery, and he was ordered to leave that place and to go to the shelter. And she said, "How can I betray this patient who is in the surgery table?" That speaks about a lot. And in Ulihorsk also, when snipers were working, and when they were shelling upon our soldiers, many were afraid, especially when they saw that the commander was wounded. They were hiding behind armor, and our doctor went and got away the already dead commander of the tank. And what does it say? That doctors have a special attitude to their work and to their actions. They don't believe that this is heroism, and they don't believe it's they do something extra, or they just do their work. Though, as they tell me later, it's very scary. One more thing. We have a big deficit of professional professionals, professional doctors, and we had to train volunteers, boys and girls, and we make them turn them into assistants, and they do their job well. I would like to mention there is a volunteer and who is Olena's, who is very good as an assistant, and together with me and other surgeons, completely does the work of a nurse and of a supporting doctor, everything, and without education, professional education, and she does that adequately and good. And when professionals are facing what we are facing at the war, and parts of hands, legs, not every doctor can stand that. So these young people, they take responsibility on themselves, they help us, and they do all their job as they should. I would like to mention also drivers who, despite shell and constant shell, despite a danger under rats and mortars, and they take the patients out, soldiers out of the battle. They are not hiding, they are not afraid, and on the way, and they drive on the road openly. That's why our vehicles suffer because of that, and quite often our vehicles get under shell, and we have we got away 18 pots of the shell after one of the trip. It takes a lot of money to repair these vehicles, and just because of our volunteer movement, we handle with that situation. If anybody wants to ask me about if the state helps me, yes, the state from 60s and for 40s we have PPE, those individual bandage packages from Soviet times, one of the best, and but we are provided completely with them. And one more thing I wanted to say, battalion Kulchytsky probably is the only structure which 100% provided with individual first aid kits and according to NATO standards. That's because of our volunteers from all Ukraine, from Lviv, Dnipropetrovsk, Mykolaiv, Zhytomyr. Some of them get tourniquet, and some other get anti-shock preparations, and that's how we were able to provide the battalion all that we need.
Do you have any questions? Maybe you would like to clarify something. From UCMC, do you have any statistical data on how many lives have you rescued in your medical center, and how many seriously wounded people were there? Do you have any statistical data? We do have statistical data. This is all in documents, approximately starting from December 2014 till today. We have provided assistance, but I will not be talking about only wounded, just medical assistance to about 500 persons. Out of them, seriously wounded, about 80. Out of them, 2 died. We failed to rescue their lives. Each one of them is in front of my eyes, because those who died are the servicemen whose traumas were such that they could not live. These were 2 guys, tankers, and we are providing the assistance not just to Kulchytsky battalion. There was a moment when We were the only doctors in the area, and we were providing services to all warriors who are in Stanitsa. I don't believe that I have the right to enumerate all the numbers of the units there. And we were also helping a lot in the Baltseva. We transported many wounded and sick people from there. The statistical data is such that wounded servicemen, as a rule, with the splinter wounds, there are very few with bullet wounds. Most are the splinter wounds. It's after the explosion of mines, of shells, and these are heavy wounds. I don't want to talk about all the details. Taras, another question from Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. What's the total number of military doctors do you have? Are you enrolling new military doctors? Maybe you are training those who are not adapted. We do train all the time, even those who are already there. We now have 4 doctors, but we need 8. We have to nurses, we need 4, but we basically are training them, and we select the servicemen who can cope with their emotions, who can adequately cope with the tasks. And we have all such people needed, and we training all the time. We would like this training to be organized not in the battlefield, not in the warfare conditions, but before that. Now the situation is improving. Some people are trained in Yavareva training center. We also are planning to have some training in Estonia and Slovenia. And different doctors will be sharing experience, the doctors from different countries, because we see one thing and we have some principles, but maybe some people look differently at these issues of assistance. But main thing is that all our efforts are not in vain, so that the servicemen can provide, so that we can provide full-fledged help to servicemen. What's bad? Very often we fail to get to the center where you can stabilize the condition. So we made the decision to organize surgery rooms in Stanitsa, but unfortunately we cannot provide all the necessary medical assistance. But the nearest hospital where there is all the equipment, x-rays and everything, is 68 kilometers away. And unfortunately we failed to transport every serviceman there. Also, the mobile hospitals will not address this issue because the enemy is very cynical, very inadequate. As a rule, they shell at medical points, at medical vehicles, and they destroy medical vehicles. When we are moving, they send they're shelling, they're targeting the medicines, medical people, seeing that the vehicle is with the cross. This has never been happening in the world. Even when our people, our medicians go there to take wounded, they wound them, they shoot at people specially so that the medicians come and kill the medicians. This is not the enemy, this is just, I don't know what. Do you have a Facebook page, the Kulchytsky battalion? How can people contact you? Yes, we do have a Facebook page. It's called Kulchytsky battalion, and we are mentioning about everything, all the events. It's very transparent. Thank you, Taras. Once you have no more questions, thank you. Thank you for what you are doing. All the best.